Hi, I'm Dan Schmitt. I do a motorcycle racing TV show, Team Chicago Challenge. My email is teamdan45@gmail.com. My website is teamchicago.tv. Well, Ashland, the racing's over. We're going to go back. We're going to look at some of the other things that took place in Mid-Ohio. We're going to look at some of the racing action right here at Ashland. So it's going to be a pretty exciting show. We've seen part 1 already. This is part 2. And we had a great time. Don't forget my email. I'd like to hear from my audience what you think of what I'm putting together. It's teamdan45@gmail.com.
It is Saturday morning and we are at Mid-Ohio. We see the crew with 57 Rider Development. They're the ones that conduct the school for Mid-Ohio. Performance track riding is what the Mid-Ohio organization calls it. This is the practice for modern bikes. We see John Jacoby, number 49, headed out. John Jacoby, Mark Junge, and we probably raced in approximately 85 national endurance races from 2000 all the way through 2009. Great friends that I've made over the years racing motorcycles. This event, the road race part of AMA Vintage Motorcycle Days, is conducted by WERA, Western Eastern Road Race Association. Evelyn and Sean own WERA, and they are the ones conducting the road racing. They have modern classes, WERA classes, and vintage AMA classes are going to run over 2 days on Saturday and Sunday right here at Mid-Ohio Roadcourse. This is a professional road course. They have Indy cars. I think they've had NASCAR. They've had AMA Superbike races. This is a great racetrack, and I've been lucky to be able to ride it a few times. Here we get to see me riding a Bob Hansen Honda. This is a 450 twin. I was invited to ride back in 2002. This motorcycle is a replica of the motorcycles that Bob Hansen built for Honda in '67, 450 twin Honda motorcycles. The big win for Honda came in 1970. Honda came out with the 750 four-cylinder motorcycle in '69. Bob Hansen was hired by Honda to develop 3 of these bikes to race the 200-mile race at Daytona. This is a picture of Bob Hansen and Dick Mann. This film is Dick Mann in the winner's circle. Bob Hansen told me that they were having trouble with the timing chain. That's the chain that goes from the crank to the overhead cams. Gene Romero finished second. That's Gene Romero, number 3, on the 3-cylinder Triumph. Dick Mann won by over a minute, and after the last pit stop, they took care of that bike and made sure it finished the race. We are now looking at one of the 450 that they raced in 1967. Gary Nixon won the race in 1967 on a 500 Triumph. Here's a picture of Terry Naughton with Bob Hansen with 3 of their replica motorcycles at Daytona from 2002.
I'm happy they invited me to come race in Mid-Ohio at the ARMA Vintage Days. We wait for the green flag, watch the number board. Board goes 1 minute. Watch the starter, throws the green flag, and off I go. Get a pretty decent start. I had no points, so I had to start from the last row. And got about 15 bikes in front of me, 14 bikes. They charge off up front. It's Pat Mooney on that beautiful 62 Norton. Right with them is Jay Richardson, also on a Norton. Both of these are 500 overhead cam Norton race engines, replicas. These are bikes that have been put together from new parts. So we head down this long straightaway. Let's take a look at Mid-Ohio, riding this 450 Honda, Team Hansen, with that replica AirTech fairing. I think my gearing's a little off by the time I click fifth. I'm already into the brake markers. Got this right-hander. Leads to this left-hander uphill. Go over the hill, downhill, into another right-hander, Mid-Ohio Roadcourse. Another left, over a hill, then a right. Head down to the back chute. Get on the gas. First time I rode a vintage bike in many years. Got this right-left combination, downshift. Brings you into the right-hand carousel. Another downshift. Screaming this Honda. It will rev to 10 grand. Make a left, the front straightaway, the short low straightaway. Bring it up. But up front, Pat Mooney, he's got the hot hand on this beautiful Norton right with him. Jay Richardson, like I said, you can buy these components, you can build these engines, you can build these bikes. Stu Carter, Steve Brown, Wes Orloff. Steve Brown and Wes Orloff are also on Bob Hansen 450 Hondas. The same bikes, replicas of the same bikes they brought to Daytona in '67 as a factory Honda effort.
In '67, Sweet Savage finished 11th in the 200-mile race on the Bob Hansen 450 Honda. As we see John Jacoby with his son, practice is over now, and it's time for me to head out. But before I leave, I'm going to take a look around Mid-Ohio. We are opposite of the pit area. This asphalt area here is used for rider demonstrations. You got Triumph's tent in the back there, and Royal Enfield is the sponsoring company for this event. Now we're taking a look at the swap meet area. Like I stated, it's approximately 1/3 mile by 1/3 mile. And then you can see the hundreds of campers in this area by where the swap meet is. Hundreds of motorcyclists riding around, having a great time. And this is the camping area for the motocrossers and the off-road riders. 40 to 50,000 well-behaved motorcyclists having a great time. We take a little look at the motocross track, and then I'm going to be heading east about 15 miles to the Ashland County Fairgrounds for the AMA motorcycle flat track half-mile racing. First, let's listen to the riders' meeting.
The way we're going to do this is, when we start racing, you're going to line up here. You're going to send you out in the heats. Just so you know, in the heat races, we go inside out. Don't come up and say you want to go here, because all I'm going to do is move you over here, okay? So in the heat races, and then John, why don't you come up here and just demonstrate what we're going to do. How this is going to work for you guys. You've probably seen it before. I'll line you up, or Damien. We have another guy who's going to help me. Damien will here. He will have a clipboard. We will line you in your spot. We will point at John. We will walk off the track, and John will do...
I will always get it on the ground.
On the ground?
And then I'll go from there.
Once it leaves the ground, you leave the line.
From a circle or a box?
We will pan a circle. Yeah, I'll put a box out there. Yeah, he'll step in a box.
No cheating.
He'll step in the box. He'll step in the box, put the flag down. Once he goes, you go. If you go before he goes, you'll
Thank you, gentlemen. First race we're going to look at is the plus 30 class. All these riders got to be older than 30 years old, but they can ride more modern motorcycles. Down the back chute, looks like number 89, that's Justin Ziegler. Right there, 31 is Judson Linder. Got Tony Moore trying to make his way to the front. This time by Justin Ziegler's down on the inside making the move. That's number 12. That is Tony Moore on a Triumph. He's from Urbana, Ohio. It looks like we got a battle shaping up for the lead. Ziegler's up front, Moore second, Jeffries third, Linder, I believe. Then you got Dana Clayton. Battle shaping up front. With the red leathers, that's Tony Moore taking the lead on the Triumph. Justin Ziegler from Frederickstown, Ohio on the KTM, running second. Third place is like Kirk Jeffries. It's like Tony Moore stretching his lead. Got a good battle going on for third place between Kurt Jeffries and Justin Linder. Got a Kawasaki battling with a KTM. Stretching his lead, that's Tony Moore on the Triumph. Justin Ziegler second. Looks like that Kawasaki moved to third. That is Kurt Jeffries, Justin Linder, Dana Clayton, Dennis Jeffries. Stretching the lead with the Triumph. Second place, that's Justin Ziegler. The Kawasaki's in third place, that's Kurt Jeffries. He's from Westerville, Ohio. Justin Linder's from Salem, Ohio. This is the class for riders over 30 years old. Looks like they all are on moto-bikes. Stretching that lead, that is Tony Moore from Urbana, Ohio. Justin Ziegler second. Kurt Jeffries third, Justin Linder fourth, Dana Clayton is fifth. Next up, 1940s vintage 750 class, meaning flathead 750 engine twins. Most of these bikes are Harley Davidson. The Triumph is limited to 500 cc's because it's got overhead valves. So these are all flathead valve. Harley Davidson's up front. Number 5, that looks like David Aldana. He is flying. He's from Rigglesville, PA. Second place looks like Matt Young on a Harley Davidson. Number 2, riding that Highline, that's Charles Holm. He's running in fourth place. As we see Francis Mark also on a Harley Davidson. Running away with this race, it is David Aldana on that Harley Davidson. Second place is Matt Young. Charles Wanger is running in third place. Fourth place is Charles Holm. We got a battle for sixth place between Stephen Lamara, he's on the Triumph, and Justin Walls on the Harley Davidson. But really flying out there and going on to pick up the win, it is David Aldana on the Harley Davidson in the 1940s vintage 750 class. Next up, 1970 vintage 250. Jumping out front like Matt Alexander right with him. That's Jim Pooler from West Salem. He is bike 787. He is very busy this weekend. He's got 5 bikes over in the garage for road racing. And he's running a few classes out here. Coming by this time, battle continues for the lead between Matt Alexander from Cleveland, Ohio, against Jim Pooler from West Salem, Ohio. This time by stretching the lead. It looks like Matt Alexander. It's like Jim Pooler's bike is slowing. Whoa, rider down. Robert Young on the Yamaha has gone down, number 12Y. He is from Port Jeffers, New York. Gonna fire that Yamaha up and keep going. Looks like he's got a champion frame Yamaha there. But leading this race, it is Matt Alexander. It looks like Jim Pooler has had a problem. He is not showing up. This time by, it is Matt Alexander. Second place now is Andrew Alexander. Two Hondas are leading. Lars Souls is running in third. Fourth place is Steve Brumley. Fifth place on the Rotaco is Mike McGuire. But going on to pick up the win is Matt Alexander. Second place, Andrew Alexander. Lars Souls. And picking up sixth place after he got his bike running, that is Robert Young. And now we're going back to 2015. I'm riding my Triumph 750. The AMA does not allow helmet cams anymore, so I have to go back to the past to show what this racetrack looks like from my perspective. I got my Triumph running pretty good, and I am ready to take on, this is the plus 60 class. So I roll up to the line. We got an all-star cast lining up. Jack Warner from Millington, Michigan, maybe has won more half-mile races than anybody anywhere, no doubt about it. Jack runs great. He's in his 70s. Got Larry Van Kirkenberg, another Michigan rider, and he's on a Rotax, so it's a vintage Rotax, not a twin. We'll wait for the start. Blasting off the line, that's Jack Warner right with him. That's Larry Van Valkenburg. Also, David Aldana. David Aldana's on his 350 Honda. David Aldana from On Any Sunday fame. One of the greatest racers in America, maybe one of the most famous racers. Almost was number one in 1970. Raced many factory teams, raced for Honda, raced for BSA. Genuine, go fast racers. So up front, we got Jack Warren from Michigan, Larry Van Valkenburg on the Rotax, he's from Michigan. David Aldana, who was also the Grand Marshal for Mid-Ohio days. He was the Grand Marshal, the AMA Grand Marshal. He's a good friend of mine. He's right in front of me, but it's pretty dark out there. Got enough lighting if you're on the bike. You can see the track. This is what racing was like back in the 70s and into the 80s. My Triumph's running pretty good. I'm having a great time. I'm running in fourth place down the front straightaway, going by the thousands of spectators. What a great day for a race. AMA Vintage Days, picking up the win. The plus 60 Vintage Open, AMA Vintage Day, Dirt Track National. It is Jack Warren winning another half mile. And I have to confess, I have never beat Jack Warren. He is a genuine go fast. Second place went to Larry Vandenberg. Third place went to David Aldana. And this year I had a chance to talk to David Aldana again. Let's go to that right now. All right, so I'm with Dave Aldana, well-known motorcycle racer,
and well-known road racer. A lot of people sort of forget about your road race career, but you raced with Team Valvoline, you raced with Honda, hired you for a while too. So we're at Ashland, we're for this AMA Days big event.
Yeah.
So far you ran practice, what do you think of this track? A pretty good
Well, I've been to Ashland 2 or 3 times before in my racing career, and every time I come, it's one of the better cushioned racetracks we get a chance to race on. The people who prepare the facility and the surface of Ashland here do a really good job, and it's really hard to judge how much water to put on it and how much to grade because the weather is so unknown to everybody. It's very hard to predict what's going to happen. So they do a good job of staying on top of it. That's why you see right now they're doing some track preparation because they know how much water to put on it when it's dry to prepare it for the nighttime race, which is going to be later on this evening, obviously.
Okay.
But to add to what you said, Dan, about the road racing, I was able to also ride for Team Kawasaki with former world champion Eddie Lawson, and I was able to ride the Honda endurance bike in Europe to win the Suzuka 8-hour race in Japan, and that was one of the most prestigious road racing. So I've done some road racing and done fairly well.
All right, so what classes are you running?
I'm going to be riding the 60 plus class because I'm 73 years old, so that's the oldest class I can enter. And I'm riding a 600cc Rotax, and I'm also riding the 750 vintage class on the same motorcycle, 600 Rotax. So I'm giving away 150 cc's, which may not seem like a big number to some people, but for those who are in the racing know, a few cubic inches and a lot of cc's can make a big difference down the straightaway. But the Rotax I'm riding is purposely built for dirt track racing, and I think I got a halfway decent chance.
Thank you, Dave. And now we're going to watch the start of the other race that Dave Aldana's in. This is 1980s vintage up to 750. Watch the flag off the line. It's like Andy Caradante got the jump. Right there is Steve Barnett, number 42. Dave Aldana is running in 3rd place down the back chute. Dave's down on the inside. Moving away, that's Andy Caradante. Now let me explain Dave's last name. If you watch the movie on any Sunday, all the announcers in the 70s and the 80s would call him Dave Aldana. But the proper Spanish pronunciation, because there is no long A in Spanish, so the proper pronunciation would be Dave Aldana. So right now, Dave Aldana is running in 2nd place. Up front on that Flower Power Honda, it's Andy Caradante. Dave's looking for a way around. He's taking the outside line. Looks like these motorcycles are pretty well matched in the horsepower. Got a Honda against a Rotax, a Japanese-built Honda and an Austrian-built Rotax. Dave is trying to find a way by. Down the front straightaway past the thousands of fans that come out for AMA days. Dave's trying the outside line again. He's going to try to square off the corner and come down on the inside. Dave takes the lead on that Mission Foods Rotax over the Flower Power Honda. They head down the back straightaway. They look like they're dead even. Mission Foods Rotax on the outside, Flower Power Honda on the inside. And it is Andy Caradante picking up the win. David Aldana was 2nd, Steve Bennett was 3rd, James Parker 4th. The final race we're going to look at is the 1960s vintage 750 race. Skip Wertz is up front. He's on his 500 Triumph rigid tail. 2nd place looks like Francis Mark, also on a Triumph. Now let me give you an update. Dave and I raced in the plus 60 vintage open class. It was that Andy Caradante that went on to pick up the win in that race on his Honda. Dave finished 4th on his Rotax, and I finished 8th on the Triumph. Yes, them single-cylinder bikes do have an advantage because they weigh 60 to 80 pounds lighter than the twins. And those singles make as much horsepower as my 750 twin. As we see Skip Wertz going on to pick up the win. For more information on the AMA, American Motorcyclists Association, their website, check it out, is AmericanMotorcyclist.com. Protecting our rights to ride and race motorcycles. For information on WERA, America's road race leader, Western Eastern Road Race Association, their website is WERA.com. On Facebook, go to WERA Motorcycle Road Racing. For Mark Junge's school at Mid-Ohio, 57 rider development at Mid-Ohio is called Performance Track Riding. The website is Mid-Ohio Courses Motorcycle Performance Track Riding. Mark Junge's website is 57riderdevelopment.com. To contact me, and I love to hear from my audience, it's teamdan45@gmail.com. Remember, you can always search on YouTube with Dan Schmitt Motorcycle Racing for great motorcycle racing action, Dan Schmitt Politics, to learn what makes America great. And I highly encourage you to visit the World of Motorcycle Museum. They're in Winamac, Indiana. They're on Indiana Highway 39, 4 miles south of North Judson. Give them a call first at 574-896-3172. It's a great trip and a great collection of motorcycles. And to pick up the Team Chicago information package, go to Rich's Yamaha in Lockport, Illinois, but give them a call first at 815-838-8130. I made a deal with them to carry my information package.